The official cash rate looks set for another cut this week, with most economists picking a further 50 basis point reduction. But an economics professor warns a drop is unwarranted because inflation is already on target. Zane Small reports.
Creamy caramel and dark almond. Chocolate bars with branding to entice, but expect to pay a higher price.
Chocolate price are gone up in last 6 month time very high.
The average price of a 250-gram block of chocolate was $4.90 in January last year. It's since increased to $5.72. Dairy owner Abdul says price rises are frustrating for his customers.
They are abusing us. They say you increasing the price, but what we can do, we had to pass it on to the customer.
Stats NZ data shows food prices increased 1.9% in January, the largest monthly rise in the cost of food since a 2.1% increase in July 2022. ANZ's latest economic update warns there are still some signs of stickiness in inflation. However, Chief Economist Sharon Zollner says it's unlikely to spook the Reserve Bank, which is tasked with keeping inflation under control.
Certainly, if we saw food prices continuing to increase month after month, then that would be very relevant for the inflation outlook, not least because New Zealand actually produces and sells a lot of food as well. But it could well be this is just monthly noise.
And despite that rise in food prices, the annual inflation rate for the 12 months to December was within the Reserve Bank's target band at 2.2%. So with unemployment on the rise and sluggish economic growth, most economists are predicting a 50 basis point cut to the official cash rate on Wednesday to give mortgaged homeowners more interest rate relief. But not all economists believe it's the right move.
Although it's my belief it shouldn't, I think it will be. It will be because the RBNZ feels the country is blaming them for engineering the recession. It wants the feel-good factor to return. The law says that the only thing that the central bank should consider is the inflation rate. And it's on target.
It would be the third rate cut in a row since August last year. That followed 9 consecutive times in a row it was kept at the same rate. And that came after a series of rapid interest rate hikes in the years prior to cool inflation in the wake of COVID lockdowns.
There's quite a range of views out there at the moment, and that makes sense because the economy is clearly bouncing. But it's bouncing out of a very dark place.
So that's why she's predicting further interest rate relief, even as some prices increase.
Well, Zane's with me now. Kia ora, Zane. So the consensus is another rates cut on Wednesday, but what about for the rest of the year?
Well, if the Reserve Bank cuts by 50 basis points on Wednesday, that'll bring the official cash rate to 3.75%. And the expectation is that it won't stop there. Sharon Zollner told me she's expecting another rates cut in April. And that's partly because it would bring the official cash rate to what's considered to be a neutral rate of around 3%. If we look at 2009 all the way to 2015, the official cash rate sat somewhere around that 3% mark. So once it gets back to around 3%, it may be that it stays there for some time.
OK, good to hear. Thanks so much, Zane.